Well, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for coming to the latest N4Viz webinar entitled You Think You Know Webby? Think Again. This webinar will showcase a new offering from N4V. We're calling it N4V Intelligence. Now, before we go much further, let me introduce the team here. We'll be working with our senior consultant, Dallas Marks, who's going to be doing the majority of our presentation today. Myself, Warren Kolbovet, the Account Executive and Strategic Partnerships. And as well, we have our team in France, Jean-Bernard and Jerome, and they were going to be doing some things in the background for us as well. So let's get started. But before we do that, just a couple of housekeeping items. First off, you're going to be on mute during the presentation. We're going to take about an hour of your time. And we welcome your questions via the chat within Teams. Jean-Bernard and Jerome are going to be monitoring the chat for questions. There might be some that we answer during the chat, during the presentation. However, we will recap those at the end. But please do, as I mentioned, put your questions whenever you have them in the chat. And we are going to be, after the webinar, at the very end of the webinar, we'll be sending out an email with a link to the webinar recording for those of you who missed parts of it or want to push this to somebody else within your organization. So before we go much further, let's recap what N4Viz has to offer the BusinessObjects customer community. And as you know, we have these 4 widgets. The first one is our N4V widgets, which integrates new data visualization components and navigation features, enabling enhanced dashboarding in Webby. The second is N4V Maps. This allows the integration of offline and online maps and custom plans directly into Webby. And the third, N4V for analysis. This is an advanced pivot table for in-depth data exploration in filterable and scrollable tables. The fourth and final, and my favorite, is N4V Publisher, which is designed for distributing information outside of Webby. Now, we're adding a 5th pillar to our offering, and we are very excited to show it to you and get your feedback today. Ask yourself this question: what if you could have a conversation with Webby in natural language to create queries and dashboards, just like you would in ChatGPT or any other AI? Well, now you can with N4V Intelligence. So why have we built AI into Webby? We have been asked on more than one occasion, is there a way that you can help our casual, new, and inexperienced user create a simple dashboard? And with N4V Intelligence, the answer is yes. So forget the tedious searches for objects, filters, or charts. Just express your need in natural language. The AI instantly generates a relevant Webby query and creates the table in Webby. And again, the AI automatically suggests the most suitable visualization to showcase your data. In just a few seconds, your idea has become an interactive report ready to share. No data is shared with the AI. It's simple, fast, and 100% integrated with SAP BusinessObjects. So natural language query, this is the first component of our solution. Let's talk about a scenario here. So ask yourself a question in natural language, or ask Webby, show me sales by region for this quarter. N4V Intelligence generates the Webby query and displays the table in seconds. Use case in this example, a financial controller is preparing a store performance report. Instead of manually searching for objects, they simply describe their need and the AI in the report is generated. Now, what is the benefit of that? Goes back to our use case where our customers are looking for an easy way for people to engage with Webby. So allows for easy access for report creation for everyone. Speeds up ad hoc analysis without involving the IT department for a simple query. Now, the second component is our chart recommender. And chart recommender is think of this as, based on a selected data set, you're going to get data back from AI. N4V Intelligence suggests the most suitable chart from the N4V Webby widget library. The user selects a table showing sales and margins, AI recommends a combined chart with dual axes, or a geographic visualization if a region dimension is detected. Again, the benefits of this: save time by automatically choosing the best visual that enhances the data value of us with a single click. And Dallas is going to certainly show us that. So speaking of Dallas, I'll turn it over to you to show everybody what I just told them.
All right. Well, hello everyone, and let's dive in. So we're going to begin by logging into the BI Launchpad, and we're going to launch Web Intelligence. So N4V Intelligence is fully integrated into Web Intelligence using SAB's provided extension points. So normally you're provided with using a data source, but we're going to bypass that because we would like to chat with our data this morning. Okay, so you'll find N4V Intelligence in the main panel. So this is BI 4.3 that we're showing today. The solution's also compatible with BI 2025. And if you look on the main toolbar, there is an extra button added at the end, and that's where we will find the main panel extensions. So, so we're going to go into there. And it is going to show us it's going to launch the interface, and we can see that in our demo box here, there have been 3 universes that have been trained with the natural language query engine. And we're going to begin with something a little fun here. We're going to begin with the Olympics, and we're going to begin our chat session. And so N4V Intelligence begins with a little bit of background about the specific universe. So you can see that this Olympics universe has 61 objects, and it's even going to present some questions. So if you're not sure where to begin your analysis with the Olympics, we've got some model questions for you. Now, N4V Intelligence also understands some attributes about the universe. So I can ask questions like, show me the geographic objects. And these didn't have to be specifically tagged. Using the large language model, it's going to understand which objects in the universe are referring to geography. And you can see here that that we've got 8 different objects, and so those are words that that I can potentially use in my analysis, and we'll put those into a table here. So you can see things like continent, country, the ISO codes for countries. And I can also ask other questions like, well, show me the major objects. So what am I able to do some analysis on? And so the AI agent is thinking, and it has found 7 major objects. You can see that we can get counts of male and female athletes, total athletes. We can also get counts by total medals or medal type. All right. So understanding that, I would like to ask some questions about the Paris Olympics that was held last year. And so the first question that I'm going to ask is about one of our great swimmers. How many types of medals did Katie Ledecky win at the Paris Olympics? Okay, so it is thinking about my request. And let's see how she did. Okay, so N4V Intelligence is going to show me a breakdown of how it's decided to put together the query. And it's definitely going to filter for Katie Ledecky, so that's great. And so that looks good to me. So that gives me an opportunity to make sure that what N4V Intelligence is thinking and what I'm thinking is the same thing. And I don't necessarily need to refine the query in this case. So this is perfect. It's exactly what I asked for. I can see Katie and her medal breakdown. She's got a bronze medal and 2 gold medals. Now, N4V Intelligence is also conversational. So my next question is going to be, well, what about Simone Biles? And so notice I didn't have to restate the Katie Ledecky question and plug in Simone Biles. I just merely said, hey, let's just continue this train of thought. What can you tell me about Simone Biles? And so it recognizes that I'm essentially looking for the same information with a different athlete. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to generate that query. And so that's going to generate the query and the table. And I don't need to know a lot about Web Intelligence here. You can see that I'm mostly interacting with the main panel, but I am going to do a little bit of alignment, and the rubber banding alignment that we now have available to us in BI 4.3 is just amazing. It really cuts down on the time. All right. Well, let me ask you a different question. So I want to list the number of medals by athletes. We haven't done extensive testing on how great it responds to spelling, but I'll spell athletes correctly. So let me see a breakdown of the athletes from the United States from the recent Paris Olympics. And you might notice, sometimes it takes the natural language query engine some time to put together the query. And for those of you who have two monitors, maybe you're going to go off and check an email or something while it's thinking. But it doesn't take too long, and all of this is happening in real time. Okay, so I have a list of athletes, and that's pretty good. It'd be an even better looking table if I had some additional information. So let me say that I want to include the sport and the description of the medal. So in other words, gold, silver, bronze. And again, the conversational nature of AI means that it understands, well, we're still talking about the thing that we were talking about before. So I will include that into a slightly more sophisticated table. Okay, and you can see there in the blue box, from my filters, it's still looking at the Paris Olympics, still looking at the United States, but I do have some additional objects now in the table. All right, so I'm going to generate that table in the query. And let me put these two tables next to each other just so we can kind of compare. So the first one did not have the sport, and I'm just going to grab it and move it over to the side a little bit so that we can see that the second request that I made indeed has added a column for the medal type and also the sport. Okay, very good. I'm just going to resize some columns. So really, the great thing about how we've integrated this into Webby is the more you know about Web Intelligence, great, but you don't really need to know a whole lot. And so if you don't know a lot about formatting or such, at any point you can save this and hand it off to an assistant or a coworker, somebody who can put a little bit more pizzazz into it. So it's just really how deeply that you want to go with it. All right. Now, I've noticed here in my data set that I have athletes named United States. Well, why do I have that? Those are relating to team sports where the team United States won a medal, and good for them. But I really just want to focus on individual athletes. So I'm going to exclude any athletes whose name contains United States. And you might notice there, I not only have United States, I've got one row of United States 1. Not really sure why that's there, but what I'm really hoping for is, because I use the word contains, that it's going to look for any instance of the United States. And look at that. It's using not like, and it's using the % wildcards. So it doesn't matter where it appears in the athlete name, United States is going to be filtered out. And let's just confirm that that's true. I'm going to put these two tables next to each other. All right, so you can see in the table on the left, I still had the United States, but in the table on the right, those results have been filtered out, and that's exactly what I was hoping that it would do. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how I can provide my own answers to prompts to filter down the information. Okay, so again, it's conversational. So it's like, okay, continue on this train of thought. I would love to be able to filter on the query. And so it's going to assume that it's going to need to prompt me for some information. And so let's see how N4V Intelligence handles my input, okay? So it says that it is going to prompt me for the country, and it's going to prompt me for one or several countries. And again, that's what I was hoping that it would do, that it would understand that I didn't want to just pick a country necessarily. Maybe I want to pick multiple ones. Okay, now when we generate the query here, notice that we get the table, but it's empty. And the reason for that is I haven't specified my prompt yet. So I simply need to select the table and hit the refresh button on the Webby toolbar. And so I'm just going to look through here for the North American countries. So I'm going to add United States, Canada, and I'm going to look for Mexico. And notice that I've got boxes for check boxes. So again, if it would only accept one country, I would have had radio buttons. So again, it did exactly what I was hoping for. It's giving me the option to do one or multiple countries, and you can see there the results have been filtered down to those 3 countries. All right, now I am going to take a moment here to just rearrange the data a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to use the properties panel and the specifically the assigned data. So I'm gonna remove some objects from the table, and I'm gonna rearrange them a little bit. You could also certainly right click on the table to remove columns or to drag and drop and rearrange them into a different order. So again, it's really whatever web intelligence skills that you bring to the game will certainly work. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the individual columns, and because now that I have the metal type on the report, I'm just going to go with total metals. And I'd like to move this into a visualization. And so I'm going to take just a moment to put the objects in the drill down order that I would like to be able to go through. So I'd like to go from country to sport to athlete, and then finally see the medals. Now, the visualization engine, all I need to do is go over to the visualization engine tab and highlight a table. And so the engine will evaluate the table, and it's going to score what it thinks are the best visualizations. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and add a drill bar. So you saw that I could also replace, so I could have gotten rid of the table, but for purposes of this demonstration, I think it's nice that we can look at the table and the chart together. And again, I'm just going to use some rudimentary Webby skills to move the chart over next to the table and kind of rubber band it so it snaps to the top. Okay, so I'm going to go into custom element interactions, and I can actually drill down through my results. Now, what we would also like to show you about this is real Webby. We're not just pulling queries out of the thin air. So every time you ask a question, we are generating a Webby data provider. And that is something that an AI user can continue to ask questions. But again, depending on a comfort level, or maybe this has been handed over to an assistant, you can go in and modify the queries that we've generated to your heart's delight. So you can see there that we're filtering on Paris. We're looking for Katie Lebecki. We're looking for Simone Biles. Okay, and there's my prompt for pick one or many countries with the enlist operator. All right, so it was a little small to see what exactly was going on in the main panel, so we've blown it up here a little bit. So when I asked the question about Katie Ledecky, N4V Intelligence is thinking about how to put it together, and as a user, I don't need to worry about the IDs of the objects, but maybe as a developer, I might be a little bit curious about that. So I can see which objects that it's picked, and then I can also see how it's formulated it into a query. So what are the objects in the result set? What are the filters that are going to, so you can, it's just kind of an alternate way of looking at the data provider. And so that's what's going on. That's what I'm able to scroll through before I decide to instantiate a table. And then finally, if, like I said, if we all agree, I'm going to have it instantiate the query just with a single click of the button. All right, so that's the Olympics. Let's turn our attention to something a little bit more familiar, and that would be eFashion. And what I want to show you in my next demo is that as a inexperienced user, I can go ask questions about my data. Okay, so I'm going to switch the universe, pick to eFashion. Once again, I have some questions to get me started if I'm not sure what to ask. And I'm just going to ask, hey, give me our key performance indicators. And those key performance indicators are for revenue, units, and margin. And for those of you who are familiar with using eFashion, you'll know that the objects are actually called sales revenue and quantity sold. That was not a requirement. I didn't have to get the object name exactly correct. The natural language model understands what revenue is. It knows that units are referring to quantity sold, and it keeps it very conversational. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask it is for the remainder of my session, I always want it to ask me to pick one or more years. And so again, it's a conversation, and it's, well, you're going to see how it's going to remember to always ask me that. So regardless of what I ask, it's always going to ask me for a year prompt so that we're, comparing apples to apples, or in the case of eFashion, party pants to party pants. Okay, so those are my KPIs. And remember, I asked it that I wanted years. And so I simply highlight the table, hit the refresh button, and that's going to bring up the prompt panel. And again, I wanted the ability to specify multiple years. So notice that it gave me checkboxes and not radio buttons. So those are my KPIs. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going here. I'm going to ask a few more questions, and I'm going to clutter up this report with tables, and then I'm going to convert them all using the chart recommender. Okay, so my next question is, I'd like to see how sales perform month by month. Okay, and so you can see that it picked year, month, and sales revenue, and it remembered that I wanted a prompt. And so that yellow box is reminding me that I'm not going to get the data until I answer the question. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the table over to a little bit of vacant real estate, and I'm just going to go with the same years that I used in the previous query. All right, so now I want to add margin and quantity to my time series. So again, the conversational nature, I don't have to go back and cut and paste the entire question that I asked before and add new information. The natural language query understands that that we're having a back and forth conversation about the data set. Okay, so this is going to be a slightly more broad table, so I'm just going to bring it over next to the second query. And again, I'm going to refresh, get some data in there. Okay, I'm going to ask two more questions. All right, now I'm going to ask a new question. I want to break down sales by store, year, month, category, and lines. Okay, and this is going to visualize beautifully. So notice I'm actually crossing over some natural dimensions. I'm going to go from store, so from my geography dimension to the time dimension, and then finally down through my product hierarchy. And so that really can be anything that I want it to be. And so all right, I think my video has juggled a little bit. Okay. All right. So you can see there that I've got my question with the category and the lines and the store name down in the bottom left. And the last question that I asked, apologize, just a minor glitch in the demo, was to show revenue and volume up in that table that's all the way up by itself. Okay, now I'm going to go through each of these 5 table blocks, and I'm simply going to double click to highlight the table. And this is saying that it's going to several different ones are proposed, and I'm going to choose the pictorial stack. Okay, and the pictorial stack, it's an SVG that that lights up with the different segments of data. And our default SVG is a man. This can be totally customized, but again, you know, kind of keeping this to where I don't need to know a whole lot about Webby. I'm just going to go with that. Okay, and I'm going to go over to my second object. Remember, it's a time series. And so I'm just simply going to double click. I am going to put year before month so that they are in hierarchical order. And this time I'm going to choose a word cloud. So it's recommended at 95%. And so I'll be able to tell the word cloud is drillable. So I'll be able to tell by the size of the year and the size of the month what you know, proportionally the values are. All right. And we were struggling with this a little bit before. I apologize for some of the fluidity here. Okay, so you can see there's my pictorial chart, and I've also rendered the timeline over in the top right because remember I had the 3 measures in year and month, and I've also got the drill bar in the bottom right, just like I did for the Olympics. And then lastly, for where I want to look at revenue and volume, one of the charts that was highly recommended was the data analyzer. And so we'll see that in just a minute. I'm going to save my work. So again, tightly integrated into Web Intelligence. And so that means you know, whether I'm a novice user or an expert user, or if I'm a novice user with an assistant, at any point, I can hand this off. But look what I've accomplished. So I asked 5 natural language questions exactly the way that I wanted to ask them in English. Really didn't have to understand how eFashion worked. And I was able to convert each of the 5 questions that I asked into a visualization. And so there you go. I've got a great dashboard. And because of the capabilities of the N4V widgets, these aren't just static pictures. So the pictorial stack, I can filter on year. The word cloud, you can see here, I can drill down on. The timeline is simply amazing. So I've got 3 different measures there, and I can control how much of the timeline that I want to see at any given time. I've got a data slider at the bottom of the timeline, and I can even hover over individual data points, and the tooltip will tell me exactly the precise value of the revenue or the quantity or whatever I happen to be visualizing. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dallas. So what did we learn from what Dallas showed us? N4V Intelligence will be released in September 2025. And sorry, make sure I'm on the right place. So yes, we're going to release this in September 2025. And based on the initial feedback, it's going to be a game changer as far as business objects customers are concerned. N4V Intelligence launches with the first two modules that we've shown you. That's the natural language query generation that we showed you, as well as the automated chart recommendations. So we believe in the key benefits here that the fully integrated into WebI, as well as the conversational assistant that you saw. It is very business oriented. It empowers users, reduces workload for IT departments, as well as the quick ROI by helping preserve and capitalize on data knowledge across your organization. So let's recap the natural language query. So what you saw was you're able to explore the universe objects. You generate a WebI request. It suggests formulas to create variables. You're continuing with the conversation, and the user retains control to continue working on the report. Within the chart recommender, the recommendation is consistent with selected data. So if you're looking at a map or so on and so forth, you're going to get recommendations around mapping. Discover new widgets and test them easily, so you can switch between them, as well as it helps to create a dashboard in very, very simple terms. So as I said before, we're launching this in September of 2025 with the first two modules, which is the natural language query, as well as the automated chart recommendations. So at N4Viz, we believe that WebI is the unmatched platform for operational reporting. However, two key features are missing from WebI, and that's advanced data visualization and integrated AI. And with N4Viz, we bridge this gap with the N4V for WebI and N4V Intelligence. Again, N4V for WebI addresses the need for creation and distribution of powerful modern dashboards, even outside of WebI. And with N4V Intelligence, it's designed for all users by radically simplifying the use of web intelligence, talking to WebI in natural language to automatically create queries and dashboards is now possible. So as we get to the end here, I did want to mention some resources that are available to you. This is our N4Viz catalog, and this QR code will simply take you there, or you're able to gain access to this off of our website. But within the N4V catalog, you have examples of our over 60 widgets, examples of our mapping capabilities, both online and offline, examples based on our analysis feature, and examples of exporting dashboards with our publishing feature. So next steps, if you have any questions about pricing, please reach out to us. If you would like to have a more detailed demo based on your use case, please do reach out to us. Now, I have seen a lot of questions within the chat going back and forth. And at this point, we're going to review a few of those. I know that the team in Paris has been feverishly typing them in here. So Dallas, are you ready to answer some of these?
Yeah, let's play Jeopardy.
Okay. So the first question is, so my understanding is we should train the LLM with our data providers, universes, views, and so on. And maybe you want to restate the answer here, Dallas?
Yeah, so definitely. So there it is. We are training the AI model with the metadata of the universe and the validated queries that will enable the system to understand the universe correctly and generate the correct query. So so those questions that you saw or that were recommended once you chose the universe, those are something that you're defining as part of the training process. And before we move on, just a little comment here. I think we've already said this, but the only thing traveling to the natural language query engine is universe metadata. We are not transmitting your data. We have no knowledge of your data. You're simply passing metadata up to the natural language query engine, and it is sending back what ultimately becomes a data provider in WebI. So your data is always your data, and we have absolutely no knowledge about it. Okay.
Fantastic.
Next question, please.
Yeah, if I modify the query in the query panel, Then the AI can continue after my changes.
Yep. So that's not planned for the initial version, but it'll be implemented in the next release. And there's something a couple of things I'd like to point out before we move on to the next question. One is our engineering team is based in Paris, France. The Web Intelligence product team at SAP is also based in Paris, France. So our executives, our developers, they can hop on a bicycle and they can be talking to somebody in the SAP tower in less than 15 minutes. So that really means that not only do we have tight integration with the software, we really have tight integration with the whole product team. And the other thing is we'll be updating the cloud on an incremental basis, but our software product is updated quarterly. And in the time that I've been at N4Viz, what has amazed me is I see the requests come in. A customer will be like, hey, your widget does this, but could it do a little more than that? And usually just one release or two releases, 3 to 6 months, we're often delivering the features that our customers have asked for. So it really makes me proud how responsive we are to our customers. Okay, next question.
Next one.
So only available
universe.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'll read the question. You read the answer. Only available with universes, Dallas.
Is this the audio daily double?
That's right.
So, all right. Well, Alex, at the moment we are focusing on universes because it is the most used data source, but there's nothing that prohibits us using any of the other semantic layers. So, of course, WebI can query HANA, it can query BW, can also query SAP DataSphere, and those are certainly directions that we could go into the future. And just tying on to the last comment, we love listening to our customers, and so if you see some promise here in what we're talking about, let's continue to have the conversation. So let's meet. And we would love to understand your particular environment, your particular challenges when it comes to data. Okay.
Next question, Dallas. How do we train for multiple data providers from different universes and Excel data sources?
Yeah. So kind of in line with the last question. So Excel is not going to be supported in the initial release. There's no reason why it couldn't be supported in the future. So definitely looking to you, our customers, for that. But you do train universe by universe. It's a relatively straightforward process. We'll have more information to share on that as we get closer to September, and of course that's something we could talk more in depth with in a longer private conversation.
Fabulous. Next question, will there be a version for CDS view and BEX query? And what version of Object does it support?
Yeah, so this answer is not really dependent on us. It's really dependent on the SAP integration points that they provide for us. And so the natural language query generation is supported from 4.3 SP3 and higher. So that includes BI 2025. We're already ready for that. And the chart recommender is from 4.3 SP4 and higher. Of course, SAP has recently released 4.3 SP5. That's going to be the last service pack for the 4.3 code line. So those are the minimum versions. Obviously, both Windows and Linux are supported as well.
Fabulous. Next question, can the training on universes be done by customers ourselves, or do I have to provide the universe to you, being N4Viz?
So absolutely yes. Customers are going to be able to train the universe, and so they'll be again. We'll have more to say about that as we get closer to the release state. We also have a partner network at N4Viz, and we are working to ensure that our partners will be ready when the product releases to also be able to help you integrate the product if you need additional assistance.
Okay. Just moving on here because we have a lot of questions to get through. This has been great. Does the Viz recommender or chart recommender also propose N4V components?
Correct. So it only proposes N4V charts, and that's because of the interactivity that they provide, and also the fact that only N4V charts are supported by our publishing mechanism, and we will have customers that want to take advantage of the full suite.
Okay. Next question. Do I need to know the columns names, etc., in the database to send a query? Do I need to know the columns name, etc., in the database to send a query?
No, and that's something I hope that you saw. So again, like if you're familiar with eFashion, the technical name of the object is sales revenue, but we could just simply say revenue. When we talked about quantity sold, we didn't have to say quantity sold. We could just talk about quantity. One of our questions even used the word units. So it really is taking advantage of all the benefits of the large language model and allowing you to talk exactly as you want to talk, the way your executives talk, it's doing the mapping between what we want to say conversationally and what's available in the universe.
Okay, moving on as the questions keep coming. Is it like filtering the universe?
Yes, and I hope so. We did demonstrate the filter functionality, and so that ends up in the Web Intelligence data provider, the query, and so that's why we hit the refresh button when we need to filter, so that we have the opportunity to give the answer to the filter values that we want to see.
Fantastic. What languages what languages are supported?
Yeah. So it is AI. We have currently tested English and French, but we will be testing some other languages. So we didn't do it today, but I could have asked some French questions with the English interface, and if you are in a multilingual environment and English only or French only isn't going to work for you, again, we'd love to have that conversation with you and to understand which languages beyond those are most important to our customers.
Okay. Next one. Can we schedule the generated report to email?
Great question. So not with the AI interface, at least certainly not today. But again, one of the benefits of the artifact that we're creating is a Web Intelligence document. And so all of the capabilities that BusinessObjects bakes into Web Intelligence, the powerful scheduling, the report distribution, that's all something that you can continue to leverage as a customer. And the great part is you already know how to do those things. So we're really it's the best of both worlds in the fact that we're creating a Webby artifact and all those features and functions are available to you from the platform, just not necessarily the AI interface, and at least certainly not in this first release.
Okay. As per my understanding, instead of adding the filters and prompts, we are using AI to generate the query.
Yes.
100%.
So we are.
Okay.
It is AI in natural language query.
Right. Will the AI assist with element linking to make the various viz interact with each other?
So today, there's we need a SAP to provide us those hooks. So everything that you've seen today is the result of a hook that SAP already provides us. So this is something our solution uses SAP's integration points, and that means that it's it's fully supported by SAP.
Great. What specific additional hardware resources are required, and in what quantities?
Yes, there's no specific hardware that's required. So the primary engine is going to be hosted in the cloud, and it doesn't even need to be accessible from your business objects server. All the interaction is between the user's browser and the natural language query engine. And again, the only thing traveling back and forth securely, I might add, is metadata. So none of the data in your universe is being sent to N4V Intelligence, and all we're sending back is based on the metadata that you sent us, other metadata that's going to allow Webby to generate the query. So all the data is 100% on your end and secure.
Fantastic. Would the AI generate the universe in the back end? I mean, we must have the universe be ready for the N4V to generate the data set.
Yes, we definitely need a working universe. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Will you be accessing the CMS DB as well?
It is possible, and the sharp eyes may have noticed that there was a third universe that we didn't show you today, and it was the audit universe. But if you've connected the CMS universe that SAP provides, you could certainly train it.
Okay, next one. How will this be integrated with BOE?
Yeah. So there are new web pages that need to be deployed to your web server that will connect to the N4V server. And just a few settings, you'll so that your browser knows where to find our engine in the cloud.
Just a few more questions here. If multiple universe objects have similar names and the AI can't determine which object you want, does it ask for clarification?
Yeah, so it may propose something or ask for clarification. So that's something we didn't demonstrate today, but certainly as we get closer to the September release date, we'll undoubtedly show some additional capabilities that we just didn't have time in the hour that we had today.
Fabulous. Okay, coming to the end. Is this available for us to explore?
So it comes with the N4V web application.
Okay. Next question. How does it handle the context prompts?
So it will, the context prompt will pop up if it is determined that it is needed. So all of the work that we normally do to give context good names and descriptions in the universe, that's something that all the work that you've put in already to support your users in picking context, that will be beneficial to the AI engine as well.
Okay. Last one. Can it also create subqueries and more advanced techniques?
I have not had experience trying to communicate something that ultimately ends up in a subquery. I don't know,
so
Jerome, if you want to.
Let's pull an audible. Yeah, let's pull an audible and see if Jerome is on and he can answer that question. Jerome.
Yes, I'm going to take the ball. Yes, so it will be possible to have what we are developing is a tool that will be able to do quite the same queries as a human is able to do. So yes, it will be able to generate subqueries and union, minus, etc., etc. Yes.
Okay, great. And maybe perhaps you can answer this one as well. Since it's the Need for Viz feature on WebI, what sort of licensing model are you proposing for this?
We are using the same licensing model that we have with N4V for WebI. So if you want to know more about that, feel free to contact us. We have offers for our clients and of course offers also for people that are interested in N4V Intelligence only, and both products, of course.
Okay. So in essence, reach out to us. We'd love to answer that question for you based on your specific needs and how you have modeled or how you have licensed from SAP. All right, so looking at the time, I want to wrap things up today. So on behalf of the team, we'd like to thank you for your attention and attending our webinar today. As a reminder, we will be posting this webinar to our resources page of our website, as well as you're going to be receiving a link from us in an email as well. And if you have any other questions or comments, for example, I know that we did not get to all the questions that were here, but if you would like to send me those questions, you can see my email address, or to Dallas. We'd be happy to answer those for you offline. And so again, thank you everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you everyone.